By the way, my name is Josh Hunking. I'm an attorney in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. This is Janine.
Special projects manager.
Ooh, manager.
I know, I'm moving up in the world. But okay, so this question kind of pertains to the last concept. It is, what is the purpose of the law?
To provide a set of rules by which we can
Yeah, I mean, I
choose
think
to conform our conduct, right? I mean, that's what it does.
I mean, I think people could, by watching our last video, hopefully they can answer that question. So
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
I think it's totally different. I think it's totally different.
So why
of
the face when I
justice.
asked you the question?
Because it's a hard question to answer. I think there's a lot of potential different purposes of the law, and I don't know that I've grappled with that question sufficiently to be able to give you a really, really good answer on it. Because there's definitely all sorts of different laws. Like the Clean Water Act is to try to keep the water clean. And then, criminal laws are designed to sort of reduce the likelihood that people commit undesirable behaviors in the sense of committing crimes. And so then I wonder if there is a generalized purpose of the law other than to just set a rules by which we can conform our conduct or
To
not.
try to maintain a feeling of peace or justice among people?
Maybe.
I mean, why else would there be laws against, like, oh, you can't drive drunk?
Because there's an inherent structural potential for injustice that I like to call the unclear rule problem.
Okay.
The unclear rule problem, I like my brother-in-law had this happen to him. He's at the store and he's looking at a pair of shorts that he's thinking about buying. It's like a Walmart or something like that.
Okay.
And he's looking at this pair of shorts. He's thinking, oh gosh, I wonder. He releases it for a second and turns around to look at my sister and be like, hey, so what do you think about these shorts? And then he goes back to reach for it, but this other lady grabs it and takes it off the shelf and puts it in her cart. And so he's like, man, that's messed up. And we spent a while talking about it. Is it messed up? I don't know. And there's a lot of, if you look at like Reddit and message boards and the internet, there's a lot of discussion about what's right. Am I the asshole? What are these things that I should, how should I approach this situation? It's an unclear rule conflict. If the rule was clear as you walked into Walmart and everybody knew, if you touch the shorts, that's not good enough to show that you intend to buy them. It was the last one in that size too. That's why I was so annoyed by it. But if you intend to buy something and you want to have keepsies on it, what is it? Dibs. If you want to have dibs on it, you have to take it off the shelf.
Yeah.
Right? You have to take it off the shelf, otherwise you don't have dibs.
Yeah.
If that's what the rule is, he would have taken it off the hanger, and so he would have claimed his dibs to that thing, and the other person wouldn't have been able to get it.
Did she just scoop in really quickly and take it? Did he not see her standing there beforehand?
I don't know. I would have to ask him that question.
I don't think she's in the wrong, to be honest.
And that's
because
fine.
with him turning his back to it, and if she didn't hear the conversation, she thinks, oh, saw it, didn't like it, turned away.
And that's fine. But it's an unclear rule problem. It's a conflict between these two humans because the rule is not clear. So if you don't have laws that try to address these circumstances, you have an unclear rule problem. And it creates more conflict, which creates more injustice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just about being decent,
but what is
to one another. Well, it's kind of like when you're merging onto a freeway, or those not a freeway. Yeah, anything. Two lanes are merging. You kind of to me, I'm like, one car goes, I go, one car, like that. But when two cars go ahead of me, I'm like, yo, what the hell? It was my turn. Would that be the same situation here?
If there was a particular rule on it. Yeah, I think that's an unclear rule conflict. I agree. I think that's an unclear rule conflict for sure. You have a different interpretation of what decent is, because if I'm the person going, I can make an argument that, well, look, you either I think it was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You got to be aggressive. You got to hit the open spot as you're navigating through traffic. Dennis's perspective on how to travel through traffic was different than that. If you wanted the spot, you should have taken it. It's your responsibility to be aggressive as a driver and get into that spot. Don't, you didn't back up. I'm just trying to move traffic forward. So I moved my car into this space because it was an open space. And they've got a legitimate argument that their version of the rule is more decent.
I don't know about that because in the same breath that I'm saying, it should be one car at a time. And if two cars kind of cut me off, I feel wronged. But if I have the opportunity, I'll cut off two cars too. So how does that standard make? Like, how's it held?
It's very interesting because what is the decent thing to do somewhat changes based on what your
Yeah.
perspective is, and the other, I think, larger problem that you get is over time.
He's researching.
No, I'm just trying to get you the Google definition of the doctrine of coverture. According to Google, the doctrine of coverture is the legal status of a married woman considered to be under her husband's protection and authority. So, if you take that in mind, and that's a world that existed at one point, and you look at what the rules are clear. I have to punch my wife, because if I don't punch my wife and she goes out and does something outside of the home and I'm responsible for what she does outside of the home, I have to maintain that discipline. I have to punch her. It's just discipline. That's what I have to do. And so being a decent person in those circumstances means I'm punching my wife for her own benefit. And so what it means to be decent is definitely changeable over a period of time and in different geographies. And so I think that's your larger problem about just saying if everybody's just decent, then everything will be fine, because I think it's unclear how you be decent in in all circumstances,
I don't
especially
know.
over time.
That seems so flawed because in that same, let's say, take it back. What was that?
To you, it
think,
seems flawed.
You think it's like 50 years ago?
No, it's more than that. It's like 100 years ago.
Yeah. So that guy thinking, punching my wife is a decent thing for me to do because I'm keeping her in line and
Correct.
check. But if a guy were to do it to him, let's say an older brother, he's the head of the house. Let's say the dad passed, whatever. He's punching the kid. I don't think he'd hold that same opinion. Like, you know what? He's just being decent and protect. Well, actually, back then maybe he would have been like, you know what? He's just maintaining order.
Order and discipline within the family. It's
Possibly.
possible.
I don't know. I think people just, in the moment, they do things that benefit them. Regardless, yeah, I don't think there's a standard they are keeping. They're just like, it's very situational.
That's a crappy way to look at the world. I hope you don't do that.
What do you mean?
I mean, okay,
You kind
so
of proved that point when I was saying that the whole merging into a lane and how there's no kind of standard of decency. People just do what
you can make an
suits them.
argument that it's decent. I don't think it's a good way to live life. I think that people make the decision they believe to be in their best interest in the moment they make the decision. But we're human. We're limited in our capacity. Sometimes we're operating off of feeling. It may not help our long-term interests. I smoke cigarettes, and when I make the decision to go out and smoke a cigarette, I intellectually know that it's bad for me. But I still do it because in the moment that I'm doing it, I believe it to be in my best interest, which is partially motivated by the fact that I'm addicted to nicotine and cigarettes. And so I'm still making a choice that's not necessarily a great choice. What you're
Well, I don't
talking about
think-
as far as prioritize yourself over the other people around you, I think that's bad
I'm
for
not.
all
No,
of
no, no.
us.
I'm not saying you should do that. I'm saying people do that.
People do that.
But also, I don't think you saying, but you're a smoker, so you go and smoke a cigarette because it's in your best interest. I think it's not. I think it's not. I think maybe you're not disciplined and you have very limited self, control.
That's surprising. I certainly don't think that about myself. I
So
think that I'm a
you
very
know,
disciplined person.
You know that nicotine's bad for you. You know
Yes.
it causes cancer,
Yes.
lung cancer, whatever.
Yes.
And you think by lighting up that's in your best interest? No.
I think that I do think that it's in my best interest when I make that choice to go and smoke a cigarette, because what I'm really doing in my head is deferring a problem for tomorrow. I have limited capacity to deal with the problems in front of me, and I choose to prioritize other problems as opposed to saying, all right, it's going to take effort to overcome this hurdle and stop smoking cigarettes.
You think
I
that's
know
right?
that I need to do it eventually, and I should prioritize it at some point, but I'm yet to make that decision to prioritize it. I choose to prioritize the welfare of my family and my
Yeah.
clients over my own health.
Do you think there's anything wrong in that justification?
There's a consequence. I wouldn't necessarily call it wrong. The consequence is that my health deteriorates. And
Okay.
I know that long term that has consequences for other people. For some people, it's better that I'm alive than if I'm dead.
Okay.
And so that it does have some consequence in the future that I'm aware of. I'm unsure
what
of
about
what it is.
murderers? They have this itch to go and kill someone, and it's in their best interest to do it because they feel like they want to do it. There's that urge, that impulse.
You have to watch the documentary I Am a Murderer. You have to.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it is.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, convicted murderers who they tell you basically what happened and how it happened.
It's not documentary though. It's a series, isn't it?
I think it's a documentary series.
Docu-series,
Okay,
yeah.
whatever. Or it's a docu-series, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying in they could argue too, hey, it was in their best interest to do so. Some of them, maybe they're in pain if they don't have that fix.
Yeah, no, some of those
But
people.
that's wrong.
Well, but maybe some of those people. No. You have to watch. You have to get the individual fact circumstance to be able to understand it, right?
I don't think it matters. I don't think
Yes,
someone who
it does. The
I-
one guy, right, the bald-headed guy who's currently sitting in prison, he agrees that he shot the shopkeeper, right? But his fact scenario is this. I was told by this big, mean, scary drug dealer that he was going to kill me if I didn't go rob this store. He was gonna kill me if I didn't go rob this store. I didn't want to kill that guy. The gun went off on accident, and I shot the man, and he died. I wasn't trying to kill the person.
You're picking like the most blurred cases. I'm talking about like Ted Bundy and the Ramirez guy, or
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy.
Perfect. You're talking
whatever.
serial killers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Who have
So
that? No,
why-
yeah, who have that fix?
Why did Richard Ramirez kill?
He was sick.
So you don't know why he killed him?
I didn't watch it. No, he creeps
Oh.
me out. I didn't want to watch that.
Well, I don't know why any of them really kill. If we actually understood it, then we would have the ability to fix it.
Yeah.
And I think that just because we can't fix it or don't know how to fix it, I think it reflects we don't understand why it is they kill. Trying to figure that out can lead you to a better solution, but their motive is, you ever seen the show Criminal Minds? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's a really interesting example. And it's dramatized, obviously.
Yeah.
But if it's correct, if it's true information, that you got these people who are sexual sadists, where they're human, they have sexual urges. If that sexual urge is associated on hurting someone else, the reason they're hurting someone else is because their body has a sexual urge, and as humans, you gotta release that in some way, and the only way to release it is by hurting someone. So you know why they're hurting people, because they've got I probably can't say the F word, but a messed up problem in their head somewhere.
Well, I can compare that to your situation. So the act of them, hurting someone is your nicotine.
Yeah.
And you think it's in your best interest to go smoke. They think it's in their best interest to go, hurt someone.
I think they do.
They'll have that release.
I agree.
So I'm saying, do you not draw a line like, hey, this is, maybe because it's affecting other people, that's when you say, hey, this is wrong. You shouldn't do that. Because in your situation, you're saying, I don't know if it's wrong. It's definitely a consequence.
There's a consequence to it for sure. I guess probably need a definition of wrong. I'm more comfortable saying that if you are hurting someone else to benefit yourself, specifically to benefit your sexual urges, that's wrong.
Or any urges. I mean, not all murderers, like serial killers, are like raping their victims or.
Yeah, you're right. If you're hurting someone else to benefit yourself, that is I think that is my definition of wrong. Mm-hmm. And so that would definitely be wrong. But I'm not. When I go and smoke a cigarette, ooh.
You're not hurting your wife.
You're good.
You're not hurting your wife.
You're good. It just clicked in my head. I am hurting someone else to benefit. You're gonna convince me to quit smoking. Holy crap! I think you're right. I'm hurting the other people who want me to be alive, assuming that there are other people who want me to be alive. Yeah.
There you go.
You're right. I gotta think about that one for a while. You're very smart. Good for you.
Thank you. But okay, that wraps up the video then.
Till next time.
Till next time.